How to spot a narcissist instantly. Welcome to today's topic, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Coach Tobias Forst, founder of Achilles Life Coaching, decade-long recipient of narcissistic abuse, and I've saved myself from it, and I will support you on your journey to your personal freedom. So, this is a tough one. We will go through several steps, 6 in total, several different subtopics, beginning with why you're actually here, why you clicked this video, if and how instant recognition of narcissists is possible, how general recognition of narcissists is possible, and what you should take away from this video when it comes to mindset and your observation skills. So let's get right into it. Number 1, why are you here on this channel, on this video, at this very moment? The title triggered your emotional thinking. So, you might be wondering, is it a clickbait title? Yes or no? Because I sort of baited your click onto this video. Why am I going into this in detail? Because this has ramifications for your life and insights I want you to take away from this video as to why I did it and how and why you must judge this video by it being or not being possibly a clickbait title. We will solve this mystery at the end of the video. For now, I would like you to keep in mind, after you've clicked and are already watching this video, will your question be answered, yes or no? And you will have to be very strict with your rightful judgment at the end of the video. So let's go into section number 2. Why do you even want to recognize narcissists immediately? The reasons seem quite simple and evident. You've endured and suffered narcissistic abuse for however long time and or intensity. That is on a very individual basis. You've suffered narcissistic abuse. You were robbed of your time, your validation, your empathy, your attention. There was a lot of demand on your tolerance for their bogus all the time, every time. And they robbed you of femininity, they robbed you of masculinity, they robbed you of your development of potential. Now you've awakened, that's why you're here, in addition to the reasons above, because you say no more. With that in mind, we will proceed to section number 3. How is early detection and instant detection possible? Instant detection is almost impossible. There are channels out there that will try to make you think that instant detection of narcissists is entirely impossible. That is simply not the truth, and I will go into the reasons in the penultimate section of this video as to why it is in fact possible to instantly recognize a narcissist for what he or she is. So why do some channels out there especially try to convince you otherwise, that instant detection of narcissists is not possible? That can come from several places. It's either a lack of information and accompanied with a lack of skill, a lack of experience, or because they are channels hosted by evident narcissists as they claim to be themselves. It is just a matter of controlling you. So let's take a step back from instant detection. We will come to that at the almost very end of this video and go into early detection and detection of narcissists in general. You get to know somebody, you perceive 1, 2, or 3 red flags, be that the minor or medium rageful outburst, or the incessant messaging towards someone, or the early pregnancy with this couple, or maybe a situation you find yourself in with your partner or spouse. Yes, those might be red flags for being a narcissist, but they don't necessarily have to be. Let's pick apart those 3 examples. Maybe that guy over there had a rageful outburst because he was yet again triggered by the same discussion of his interlocutor, and he's just had enough. And he wants to make a statement, set boundaries, with a loud and booming voice, accompanied by maybe even insults. Is it professional and mature? No. Is it narcissistic? Yes. Is he a narcissist? Not necessarily. We don't know. I will come to the reason as to why we don't yet know, or you don't yet know, after I've dissected the other 2 examples. The incessant messaging. Narcissistic, yes, but it might simply come from a place of high insecurity. Texting him or her all day, every day, gives you or gives us a glimpse into deep insecurity, and obviously not really a different purpose in life, because if someone really has to do something, has something on the table to pursue, a mission to accomplish, a goal to achieve, there is simply not enough time for texting all day, every day. Narcissistic, yes. Narcissist, maybe yes, maybe no. We don't yet know. Early pregnancy might be a red flag of narcissism due to the goal of binding the primary narcissistic supply source more closely to oneself. Or it might just have been, as pregnancies go, unplanned for, lack of being careful, and the list goes on. So, by you perceiving the occasional red flag or singular red flags, you have every right to take your distance from this person. Yes, of course you do. Are they, by definition, a narcissist? Hard to tell from getting only glimpses of singular aspects of such behaviors. So at the core of you trying to find out if they're a narcissist is the factor time. Is that guy in that example rageful on a regular basis? Is that insecure person texting each day, every day to their partner or to you if you're the partner? Is this changing over time? Do they respect the privacy and the need for me time by the interlocutor or yourself? Do they work on themselves to let go a bit and enjoy the time you have together, the occasional messaging, or does it not change? Is it always an instrument of control? Now, you have to make the following differentiation. There are narcissistic traits, and whether you like it or not, we all have them, such as pride, rage, and others. This is a topic for a different video. Narcissistic traits alone do not constitute narcissism, and narcissism, or being a narcissist, is not the same as narcissistic personality disorder. The terms narcissism, narcissist, or narcissistic, they are descriptive and they are not diagnostic. Narcissistic personality disorder, however, is a diagnosis, and the only people who can create such diagnoses are psychologists, and will remain psychologists. And they also require time and intense sessions and communication with that client in order to make or not make such a diagnosis that is called NPD, Narcissistic Personality Disorder. So whenever you come to the conclusion that somebody's a narcissist, it is your right to make that judgment, because you describe what you see, you describe what you hear, and you describe what you don't see and what you don't hear. leading you to the descriptive impression that he or she is a narcissist. Now, how does your, point number four, how does your adequate way of dealing with recognition and detection of narcissists look like? At its core, you require time. Perceiving the occasional red flag, once here, once there, doesn't make them the people that you're watching and observing a narcissist. So you need time, and you need your distance to the fact that you can reduce your emotional distance, that you can reduce your emotional thinking to such an extent that you have much more capacity for cognitive, logical thinking in order for you to perceive or not perceive a repetition of red flags and their possibly varying intensities. You require time, ladies and gentlemen, and during that time you need to stay vigilant and pay attention. Paying attention was such a vital value that in ancient Egypt and Egyptian mythology, the concept of paying attention was elevated to a divine principle in the shape of the god Horus, the falcon, perceiving things from a higher perspective. This is the price you will have to pay in order to find out whether somebody's a narcissist or not. You have to pay attention. This is not a wish upon a star, and it goes like this. Every time with everyone, this is simply not the case, but more on that in a moment. So that's the price you have to pay. And during the time you're taking in order to find out whether he or she is a narcissist, you will have to come to terms with the fact that you will experience small amounts of narcissistic abuse by different people that you encounter for the first time. What do I mean by that? Let's imagine you get to know a new colleague, and during this talk, you already see that he is trying to invalidate your position, your achievements, and tries to gaslight you, make you doubt whatever you're just talking about. It's gaslighting, it's manipulative, it's invalidating, it is, by definition, narcissistic abuse. For 5 minutes. Not for 5 years. Not for 50 years. So you have to accept that this behavior will be brought to your shore by him or her whenever you encounter these people. But at all times, you have the possibility and the right to leave this interaction. Last but not least, during point 4, you have the possibility to ask yourself internally the question: is this person where you've already perceived over time the repetition of narcissistic traits? Are they of use to you in a certain way or not? And then you have to decide if it's useful, if something that they can offer is useful to you. Do you really want to continue interacting with them in order to extrapolate that use or not? Rest assured that each interaction with narcissists costs energy. The decision on an individual basis is entirely, as always, up to you, ladies and gents. So, to recap this, what you need in order to make sure that you come to the accurate conclusion of describing somebody in your mind as a narcissist is the factor time. And during that time, with logical thinking and not so much emotional thinking, the perception of repeated appearances of the same red flags in their varying intensities. Point number 5. Immediate recognition. Is it possible to immediately, instantly recognize a narcissist for who or what, for what he or she is? The answer is a clear yes. How does that work? The good news is that there is a yes, and it comes with a very, very big problem. A very big problem of unreliability, while seeing this upcoming factor is 100% reliable. I will clarify right now. It's the black eyes. It's the deep, dark eyes that seem to appear out of nowhere in that face of your interlocutor. Now, having said this, there are now 3 groups of people among you, ladies and gentlemen, right now. Group number A is thinking, what the heck is this guy talking about? Group B among you will come to the realization, so I haven't made this up. I wasn't wrong about this. I really did see what I did see. And Group C nods their head in agreement and say, yes, exactly. Exactly. The deep, dark eyes. The almost black eyes. Now, the reliability of recognizing a narcissist for what he or she is, when you perceive this, when you see the dark eyes, is 100%. The big problem is, you have absolutely no guarantee, ladies and gentlemen, that you, in particular, will ever see this with a narcissist. Other people might, or you might, and other people might not. I've known narcissists for decades. Narcissists that many of them, I've never seen these eyes. That might or might not depend on my role in their lives, in most cases not having ever been the primary source of supply. So the big caveat, the big takeaway, the big takeaway from this shall be to you. When you see it, when, fat letters underlined doubly, when you see it, there is your instant recognition. However, you have absolutely no way of predicting and being able to expect to ever see this in a narcissist's face instead of their eyes, the dark ones, the almost black eyes. When you do, if and when you do, there is your immediate recognition, your instant recognition of them as a narcissist. So what I want you to take away from this particular factor is, do not rely on ever seeing this in their faces, because you cannot even say under what circumstances it happens, when it happens. It might be just the wordless blank stare and all of a sudden the eyes change. Or it might be during one of their bouts of narcissistic rage. Or not at all. So rest assured you can spot them instantly if and when you see these eyes. And for lack of this even being predictable in some way, shape or form, you have to go back to the earlier parts of this video to take your time with reduced emotional thinking and extend and expand on your logical thinking and make mental notes of their behaviors. And if it doesn't come up, it's very unlikely they're a narcissist. If it comes up more often, more intensely this time or that time, then the likelihood of them being a narcissist rises. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, we will unravel the mysteries of the first section of today's video, why you're actually here. you clicked, you ask yourself, especially during the first section probably, is this clickbait? Was my question answered? And this is where I want to lead you to. What brought you here was your emotional thinking, and I calculated on it. So the question for you is, when you are being clickbaited, and you clicked as fast as you can click the subscription button and the like button and the share button, and feel free to comment, to say whatever down there, please remain polite. And is your question being answered in the clickbaity sounding video, yes or no? If yes, note it, positively noted, hopefully, on your part. If your question is not being answered, it is your right to punish such a someone by not clicking, or not clicking so often in the future, because you come with a certain request. That's why you typed in your keywords. That's why you typed in your search, in order to find answers that you do not yet have to its full extent. And you want to get those answers, and you deserve those answers. So if somebody tries to repeatedly trigger your emotional thinking to click, if you're still a servant of your own emotional thinking in the digital ether, how do you expect to leave your emotional thinking at a low level, a reduced level, in your private, your business, your social, and your relationship life? You need logical thinking. So judge, and do judge harshly. Is your question being answered? Yes or no? No deserves your punishment by you reducing and turning off your time, your validation and attention. And yes, might deserve in the future another click or not, depending on how you feel about it. That said, ladies and gentlemen, keep your eyes peeled. Take your time with logical thinking to analyze and categorize people. And you have every right to come to the descriptive conclusion of him or her being a narcissist, or the positive news that they are not. And when you see the eyes, there's your answer right there. It might be 7 years down the road that you see them for the first time, or it might never. But apart from that, your instinct and your cognitive ability, untainted by emotional thinking, will be your best companion on detecting narcissists at a very early stage. Be your own hero and be your own heroine. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.